This week, dozens of immigrants from Central America walked up to the DeConcini port of entry in Nogales, Arizona, and requested asylum. The men, women, and children say they are not part of an organized caravan and had made the trip north to escape violence in their home countries. The Nogales International newspaper in Nogales, Arizona, was among the first media in the United States to report the story. We begin our coverage with reporter Kendal Blust.
One of my coworkers had been in Nogales, Sonora during the weekend, and she was coming back across, walking through the DeConcini port, and she saw a group of several dozen people waiting outside. Men, women, children, mostly women and children. They were sitting against the walls of the entryway to the port on cardboard boxes, on blankets, and my first impression was really just wanting to know what had brought them there and why they were waiting for so long.
What did they tell you about how they had gotten here and why they came to the port of entry in Nogales?
They all talked about extreme poverty, the problems. A lot of them work in subsistence farming, and there's drought, there's some other issues that are causing them to not be able to produce as much as they used to, and that's made it hard to make a living. They said they're having trouble feeding their families, that it's causing violence and robbery, and a lot of the women talked about family violence that they were fleeing as well. So they all were talking about a lot of extreme situations, and they'd all left their homes individually for the most part, maybe with a neighbor or a friend, but decided to come to the port to ask for asylum. And had traveled in various ways. One mother had taken buses for 7 days. A father who was there with his 2-year-old daughter said he'd been traveling for 25 days. And they were hoping that they will be able to ask for asylum and get refuge in the U.S. People had heard different things. One mother told me that she had heard that the U.S. was giving mothers and children asylum until the end of May, and that after that the program would end, and so she said she had wanted to get here as soon as possible in the hopes of crossing the border and uniting with her cousin who's living in Virginia.
Did you get the sense that these people understood the gravity of what they were asking for in seeking asylum?
Yes and no. They know that they have to show that they're in need, but to receive asylum you have to show that you will be persecuted based on certain characteristics, and I'm not sure they all understood the requirements for what they'll have to prove in order to actually receive asylum in the United States.
You also communicated with the children who were there with their parents. What did they tell you about this experience?
The parents talked more about how tired and exhausted the kids were and how hard that is as a parent to see. The kids are like any kids, they were playing or napping. They had one stuffed doll that they kind of seemed to be sharing among the group. And like any other kids, they were tired and sad. Some were crying for food and water, but others just were curious. They wanted to look at my camera or, show me what they were eating. The 7-year-old boy I talked to was saying that he knew just that he was coming with his mom to the United States, that he was happy to go, but I don't think that they understand the full situation.
What have you learned about where these families plan to go next? I mean, some of them will be processed and questioned, others will be turned away.
Some members of the group, as you know, are going through the port. They're asking for asylum, and they hope that they'll be released during the proceedings to go stay with family members who live in various parts of the United States, from Florida, California, Virginia, while they await their proceedings. That's their hope. Others had come to the port, and they started arriving as early as 8 o'clock a.m. on Saturday morning, and by Monday morning, having not been able to enter the United States, one woman told me she thought about 50 people had decided to leave, either to try to enter the United States at another port or possibly to try and cross through the desert.